All right, Vince Ciattei of Perry Hall, 415, 1600 and a 413.7 converted mile last year, a couple of 920, 3200 runs. Where'd that come from?
In cross country, this is my first season with a real base going into the year, and I had a lot of high expectations for myself in cross country, but I think I kind of peaked at the wrong time. And in indoor track, it was kind of the opposite. I never really peaked because I was afraid I would peak too early. So in cross country, in outdoor track, I really worked with my coach to get it to the right time, and I just knew what worked and what didn't at that point in the year with having an extra the base there, and it just really worked out at the end of the year. I was peaking at the right time.
Here in Baltimore County, you really didn't have a lot of competition. The guys from Hereford were able to run with you once in a while, but you always ran your races from out front and always trying to set the pace.
Right.
At the state meet, you sat back. Was that by design, or?
Yes, it was. In the 3200, over the course, I had an undefeated season in the 1600, so I kind of thought that was my forte a bit. But the 3200, I really didn't, with the heat at the state meet and the fact that it was my first time at outdoor states running an individual event, I really just wanted to kind of see how the pace went out and not just take it out myself, because that could have been like suicide. So I figured, maybe the adrenaline would get going in that last lap there and I'd have enough to kick for a win or a placement, and it just worked out that way. And then in the mile, again, I didn't really want to take the pace out because I didn't know how I would recover from the 3200 the day before. So I'm glad it was a fast pace because it gave me a big PR time. So, but again, it just came down to a kick in my training, and having maybe fresher legs from not racing as much as some of the other guys really helped me there.
Last year at indoor, the Montgomery Invitational seemed like to be a real learning experience for you.
Right.
About how to go out, that the pace does go out at 440 for the first mile. Tell me about that second mile.
That was that was our only invite that we got to do in indoor, so I was really pumped up for it because McGordy and some of the other Virginia guys were there too. But I was coming in thinking I could, break 940 or something. But when the first mile was out in that 440 range, I felt good cruising through because I was kind of, again, there was some adrenaline there because, it was my only invite. I figured I could give it a lot in this race, but then just kind of hit me the second mile. Like, yeah, I still have a lot of work to do here. Like, I can't just jump into a race and expect to run 9:30 in the indoor. So.
A lot of your races you run at the Baltimore Armory, which is just hell to run at.
Right.
Do you think you also ran a lot of races there? Do you think you're going to follow that same pattern again this year?
No, to be honest. Like last year, I really was running there just because I didn't want to be completely out of like the racing kind of like
the mode.
Yeah. Like I didn't want to just only run at PG because we only went there 2 times.
Right.
So, but this year I'm going to try to talk to the coaches, and hopefully we can get to maybe one more invite down at PG. And my indoor season will hopefully be starting a little later this year because my goal is to get to the Foot Locker Championship in cross country, and that goes into like December. So I might not be having as many races anyway down there.
Talking about cross country now, you were 7th last year in the state meet. What did you learn from that meet to maybe try to win it this year?
Well, that race, I kind of got near the lead pack, but I was never in it. I think I was a little too hesitant to not just go out with the leaders and see what would happen because I was afraid that I would, fall off the pace early or something like that. And I think I had the fitness there to try and stay up with them, but I was in kind of no man's land between the lead pack and like kind of some chasers that were going to be in the top 10. So this year I know I know that I'll be definitely at that level where I can just go out and either help set the pace or set the pace myself and try to go for the win.
Now this year, everybody really hadn't heard of you. They might have heard of you, but they weren't expecting big things out of you. This year, you got a target on your back a little bit. You think it'll be different for you out there?
To be honest, I think that would just be. I think that's just gonna make me wanna like make my track time stand up. Really, like I know a lot of. I mean, most people are like, you know, wow, this came out of nowhere. Like came out of nowhere, you know. But I don't want it to be like one fluke season, because I know my training, you know, these race results was the product of my hard work. So right. I want to, you know, make that stand up in cross country and get those same results.
Think you might be able to have a chance to maybe do some invitationals in cross country outside of Bull Run and Barnhart?
Yeah, I've already kind of, you know, Barnhart, it gets good teams, but I'm not to diss the meet, right. You know, it's a good meet.
You also run at Delaney,
we run Delaney
twice,
right. You know, twice in the postseason. So right. That's definitely something I've been looking at, because I want to try and get some competition outside of Maryland to see, you know, because I'm really targeting states in the Northeast Regional for Foot Locker this
right.
year, and one of the races that I know will get some of those Northeast guys is the Paul Short Run in Lehigh. So I've been looking at that, and I want to try and get hopefully to at least one invite. It might be by myself, right. Depending on if we can get everyone there. But I really want to see some guys outside of Maryland that I know I'll be seeing at like Foot Locker to try and prepare for that competition. Talking about the big races, do you have any maybe thoughts about maybe try to qualify for the Millrose Games? Some of those meets? Yeah, I've really, I mean, I'm excited for cross country, but I'm like really excited for senior year of track, because now that I have some of the times that can compare, like if we run at Montgomery, I'm hoping to maybe try and run the mile there and right. maybe get a bid to Millrose. And outdoor wise, I really want to try and get into the Penn Relays mile, because I think that would be a cool experience. I think the Dream Mile would be a really high, tough, you know, that would be a very tough thing to get into. But, you know, if I can turn in a good Penn Relays mile, if I can get into Penn Relays and maybe turn in a good mile there, maybe that'll end up in an invite to that. Like, that would be the dream, you know, meet to go to. So now, we all know that cross country and running at most high schools is sort of still the geek sport. Right. Do people here at Perry Hall actually realize they might have one of the best runners in the country in their school? Has there been any more? Let's put it this way. Has there been any more anything being said around school? I mean, there's mainly buzz with the people like I know already. Yeah. Like, I mean, people like I don't really know if people see me and say, "Oh, that's just that runner, yeah. you know, kid." But I mean, what I see as the buzz is that, you know, when I and Jose Cruz and some of the other guys came in as freshmen, we had like no upperclassmen on the team. It wasn't a very high participation sport, but as we've gone through and kind of set a precedent for some better times and better placement at meets, there's been more participation on the team. So, you know, we had a good-sized outdoor track team this year. We're hoping to have a pretty solid cross-country contingent this year. We got a lot of seniors, and and I think us kind of going through and staying with the sport has given a good example for some other guys to come in, because we've had some upperclassmen that seem to be just as dedicated as we are coming in. So that's, I guess, buzz-wise, that would be the kind of thing. But I'm happy that we can kind of, me and Jose and, you know, Bart, Allen, and all the guys that have kind of set that precedent and been able to do that for other people. All right, man. Well, good talking to you, and good luck during the season. Thank you very much.